Everybody else is paid to play. You guys are invited, and you're paid for it. Congratulations.
I felt like I couldn't be anywhere else but on my team, and they were hyping me up. I was hyping them up, and we all just kept it together. And yeah, good coaching too. Yeah.
It's really good to go against good competition. And I just know nobody can throw the ball on me.
So what was
All right, folks, this is Channing Humphrey with Semi Pro Live, and we are back. I know we may have been missed by some. This is probably one of our longest service interruptions in a long time. I'll say service interruption. We were taking some time off, man, some family time. Recently had my son Channing come on back over to the house, so we had to get reacquainted. But without further ado, it is championship season, man. Time to put another one of these rings and medals, trophies, or whatnot, whatever's being given out. But before we start talking about champions, we have to get on to the Premier Events National Championship coming to us soon. We got about 2 weeks to go. So, without further ado, we're going to introduce a couple of guests that we have. Before we get started, we have to show a little bit of love to some of our keynote sponsors that are going to help this get going. So, I want to give a big shout out to Max Sporting Goods and a big shout out to Shock Visors and Shock.com. That's Shock with no K. Go to Shock.com, code SemiProLive to receive 15% off your entire order. That's visors, t-shirts, whatever gear you pick up from over there. Go to Shock.com. Now, this is going to be a limited series. We're going to have some questions from YouTube. It's going to be a little bit interactive. We want to give the audience at home to get a little bit of a more in-depth look at some of the athletes over here with Premier Events. So without further ado, I don't want to hold you too long, so we got the finals coming up on us. We're going to start off with our first two guests of the night. We're going to start off with some heads of some of the more premier programs in the entire Premier Events universe. So we've got Todd Smith of the Frisco Lightning.
Hey, Channing, how are you, sir?
Hey, she had the little clap emoji going for a while, so I thought we were going to get some hand clapping going. But Jasmine's not as fancy as she usually is today. Gone 2 weeks. But all right. So, Coach, man, tell us how you doing, man.
Coach, we're doing great, man. We just got back from some training. Jake, my son's the quarterback for the Lightning, so on Thursday nights, we get about an hour of work in with his quarterback coach. So we literally just walked in the door maybe 10 minutes ago. And excited to be here. Excited to be on here with Coach Johnson from AYG as well. We're in good company when he's sitting on the couch doing an interview as well. So thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
All right, man. Well, hey, he's been on Semi Pro Live so often that he kind of knew what was happening next. So, like a repeat, almost every other time that we come on, the next person I'm talking to is Weldon Johnson. This is the first in a long time I'm not giving out a trophy or medal of some sort. So, without further ado, we got Weldon Johnson of AYG and Newman International, Cedar Hill campus.
How's it going, John?
I'm always shamelessly plug my guy.
I appreciate it.
Time state champion. Well, man, so how's your day been going, man?
Man, it's been going good. We're actually finishing up our last week of school, obviously getting ready to roll into the summer, get summer workouts rolling, and really looking forward to next season, high school-wise. Of course, my young kids, they're going full force right now. I think out of the next 4 weeks, we're on the road 3 of those 4 weeks.
All right, man. Well, you guys are two guests that I'm excited to talk to because you guys can kind of talk about the game and coaching from two different points of view that a lot of parents and some coaches never get to experience. So, man, I'm going to start off with my guy from up north with the Frisco Lightning, man. What's been the experience and how do you balance being a coach and a father?
Wow, Chan, that's a tough situation at some points. It can be. I'll tell you this: being a coach has made me a better father, if you can believe that. It was a learning experience for me. I've been coaching my sons, both of them since really they could walk. But to make me better, I've learned where in a football game you get down or you get behind. The worst thing you can do is get all over them because they'll freeze up, right? They'll tighten up, and that's with any kid, and I'm starting to try to learn to use that as a parent as well, right? If they do something that maybe I'm not approving of, use that same philosophy that I use on the field at home, and just try to be a better dad with that too. So I'm not going to say it's the easiest thing because it can be challenging at times because sometimes you may expect more out of your son than you will another player. But man, I'll tell you, my entire life, these past probably 5-6 years have been the best time for me. And I just hope, he feels the same way about it.
Well, and I got to move that same question over to you. How do you balance out one of the better athletes on your entire roster? He's going to be in the car with you riding home after the game.
Yeah,
man. Coach Ty was kind of spot on with what he said. With me, obviously the quarterback Cam is my son, and it's a very similar situation. I say probably the biggest difference for me and our relationship is it's probably been him. He's taught me how to handle the coach and father role. I mean, he has no problem telling me when he needs me as coach and when he needs me as dad. So that's helped me with figuring out how to be which. Originally, I started out and I kind of felt like I was being too tough on him. And I actually sat him down and we had a conversation, and it was the strangest thing in the world. I asked him what he needed from me to make him a better player. And his response was, when you're tough on me, I play better. And I couldn't believe it because I just knew it was going to be, sometimes I wish you would just shut up. But when he said that, that's when I knew that he was kind of elevating as a player, and that alone helped take our team to a completely different level. Because when they can see me get onto our quarterback, who, I mean, trying not to show the father-son relationship, but everybody knows when they see him get it, they know everybody's free game, and that for our team has been everything.
All right, man. Well, let's get to the business at hand. So tell us a little bit more. We're going to start up north, man. Tell us about what went into the formation of the Frisco Lightning. I know firsthand, you guys are one of the more organized organizations for 7-on-7 that I've been around. You guys have a media team. You guys have stats, a camera person. I want to know a little bit more about the journey to forming an organization that's so well ran. You guys, I think you were in year 1 or year 2. How did you guys get to the point so quickly?
Yeah, so year 2 of 7-on-7 really with the Frisco Lightning. So my partner in crime, as I like to say, Coach Mark Younger, hope he's watching. We coached tackle team together about 5 or 6 years. Jake was our quarterback coming up all through that as well. And just a natural progression, we wanted to do something in the spring as he was starting middle school ball. So luckily enough, we had a good group of kids that were going, to the same school. And then, we kicked some other kids, like you'll talk to Duke Strain here a little bit, who we played against in tackle for many years, and some other kids on the team, we did the same thing and built relationships with their parents who entrusted us to, take on the coaching responsibilities and come join the Lightning. And with Coach Mark is just outstanding at, when you talk about organization skills, I mean, he's all over it. Just the way, he runs this business and their organization. I mean, we have a 501(c)(3) now. He's got that set up for us. So this next year, we're hoping, to get some sponsors and be able to travel a little more with this team. And to be honest with you, man, I'll credit and to God too for kind of giving us the opportunity to coach these boys and bringing these families together. That we can make a difference in their lives and help them be a better player, but also better young men is what we look to do.
Man, that's awesome, man. So, Weldon, just to move over to your standpoint, man. So, what is it? You come from a little bit of a different standpoint. You didn't have the kids the entire youth football career into 7-on-7.
Right.
You come into a situation where each one of these athletes was with one of the more premier youth programs in the area. You have kids from SED, you have kids from Pac Prime, you have kids from NTX Bills, Elite Golden Bears. You took kids who were star players on their own program, and you were able to merge them into one organization. How are you able to get those kids to put those egos aside?
One of my biggest things has always been trying to show this area in the South that if we were to come together, we could be dominant. And kind of what you just said, we've got some of the best players from some of the best teams in this area, bringing them together. The funny thing is, most of these kids that play against each other, they're friends. Really getting to the stage that we're at now, I would say just putting them in the mindset of when you get to high school, you're going to play with guys that are just as talented as you. Every kid on this team, in my opinion, is probably going to play some level of college ball. And it was the same thing, letting them know this is what we're preparing for. You got to be able to play with the best of the best if you want to play this game for a long time. I mean, it's easy to be the best guy on your team and, go win 5-6 games, but lose to somebody that has, maybe 3 or 4 studs. But when we brought this group together and I finally got them to buy into the team mentality and they started to understand that it's not about me, kids stopped caring who scored. They just like to celebrate. When they got that mindset down, I mean, I told them sky would be the limit, and we've been rolling ever since.
All right, we're going to swing back over to Frisco. Now, this is going to be one of our final questions. Now, there's a balancing act that I've seen you perform. Now, you guys have some elite athletes like Strand, who we're going to have on a little bit later, who's a rangy wide receiver / safety who's a two-way athlete. But you also have some kids who are going to have futures outside the game of football.
Right.
But you're able to still put those teams together and have not only a competitive team, but a championship team. How are you able to get this much? How are you able to get that high of a performance out of a group that some other coaches may not be able to?
Yeah, that's a great question, Channing. And really, we have some concepts that we utilize, and my belief and Coach Mark's belief is you got to find a spot for a kid and where they can excel in, right? I mean, not every kid can be quarterback, not every kid's going to be a Duke Strang, right? But you can find a spot and you can have them contribute. And if you can get them to buy in to their position and give you 100 and 110% every time at that position, they can be successful at that, right? And you're not going to put maybe they're not the fastest kid who's got to cover the flats, right? But you can find him a spot maybe somewhere else on the field where he can excel. And we've done a really good job with that. Now, we have a pretty good depth within our team this year. But in our second year, we brought on some kids, but we have 2 really good kids who are going to be up and comers who've never played football until this last middle school year. So they played 1 season of football, and now they're playing their first season of 7-on-7. And just watch their growth in the game has been just tremendous. And they're both are going to be A team next year. There's no doubt about it in my mind. Watching them develop this year, and that's what I really enjoy that part of coaching, to see these kids grow and to watch them, as Coach Johnson just said, watch these kids develop on in through high school and into college. So it's just been a fantastic season, and we're going to keep rolling too.
To a short highlight. Now, yours is a crucial question, man. Separation anxiety setting in, man. Due to your situation as a college coach, you're not going to be able to coach your flagship group of kids anymore until they come on with you at high school, man. How have you prepared for it, and how has this situation been different than any other coaching situation that you've been in?
It's been tough, and I'll say it's probably been tougher on me than it has for the kids, because this group, they know I do anything for this group of kids. Love coaching them, love having them at the house, just hanging out, whether swimming, playing basketball, video games. And again, that's another reason that this group is so close, is because they are friends off the field. But back to your original question, knowing that this time next year I'll be in the stands watching them versus on the field, for me, it's tough, just because for the last 2 or 3 years, the majority of these kids I've been coaching, and I'm gonna miss not being able to be on the field and, make those adjustments and pick them up when they need to be picked up and push them when they need to be pushed. But the great thing is they know I'll still be there. I'll be at every game. I'll still be cheering them on, and I'll still be a part of their life from that perspective. Now, as far as the team themselves goes, they're going to be perfectly fine without me. I actually tested them earlier this year. We were in the middle of a game. I didn't say a word. I just walked and stood in the corner of the end zone. My quarterback's looking around. We're on offense like, where's coach? And I watch him put together one of the best drives I've probably seen all year. And that was kind of the moment that I realized I've done what I set out to do with this group, as far as teaching them the game and at their age, getting them to the point that they can play.
Okay, I see. Well, shout out to Weldon and shout out to Misty with the special effects added in. Well, hey, man, we're going to still have you guys hang around, because we're going to have some more of your athletes join us. But before we get to that, we have a short video that was prepared earlier. Let's go ahead and take a look at it.
And after this season, this group will move on to middle school, so I will not have the honor and privilege of coaching them again in 7-on-7. So hopefully they're going to send me out with a state national championship this summer.
Well, hey, man, let's get a hand for that, man. Well, hey, Well, that was just a follow-up on what you were just speaking about, man. But let's go ahead and go into our overview. We'll talk about a couple of the guests that we're going to have on today. Our first athlete that we're going to have up is going to be Cam Phillips of AYG. And then we're going to have follow-up by Jake Smith of the Frisco Lightning. He's the starting quarterback. And then we're going to have Colton Newsom of the West Texas Boom, a dominant quarterback from out west. And then we're going to follow up with Duke Strand. This is one of the most dominant two-way players that you're going to have the privilege of seeing this year out of Premier Events. And then we're going to have Bane Martin from the Alito Bobcats, wide receiver. And then we're going to follow it all up by the guy who pays the bills and makes all this happen, man. We're going to have Kurt Lamley come on and get us prepared for Nationals. But without further ado, man, coaches, if you guys want to stick around, and I'd actually like the coaches to ask some of these athletes some questions themselves if they're interested. But let's go ahead and move forward, man. Cam, do we have Cam ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Well, hey, man, a kid that's never shied away from the limelight, man. I had the privilege of watching you with SCD, actually, at the time, right before you hurt your arm. And then I got the privilege of watching you come back from that injury. And now you're on the verge of getting your second national championship back-to-back. So, man, just want to bring you on and get a little bit more information about you as an athlete. So, Cam, welcome aboard, man. So how's your day been going? Cam, we still got you?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. So how's your day been going so far?
Good. Just finished up my second to last day of school.
All right, man. So you guys have been at it this season, a very active season for AYG, up to your usual antics, winning championships, dominating tournaments, man. So what's been different about this season than the ones that you played before?
This season, I feel like we're more talented because we're older, more dominant, and more competitive. It makes us win more games.
And that also puts a special spotlight on your back, a special target. how have you and your teammates been dealing with the attention that comes with being on a program that's as dominant as AYG?
We like being looked at, getting recognition from coaches. It puts us in a good position.
All right, man. So tell us a little bit more about the team, man. What's it like being a leader on a team with not only a lot of dominant personalities, but a lot of dominant athletes? So unlike another team where naturally the quarterback would be the leader, AYG has a lot of kids who maybe play quarterback on their other team, or maybe are the number one athlete on the team and call a lot of shots where they're coming from. What is it like being on an organization with those type of personalities and those type of athletes?
I feel like it's good for me because sometimes I have to step up, be a leader, and tell them to up their game while they're down.
All right, man. So now we have some clips that we're gonna go ahead and show. So what do we have right here, producer?
Go, Cam! Yeah! Woo! Good job, Frank!
Okay, we got Cam. Frank caught me leaning over at the cameraman. So what has it been like having two dominant receivers like Cam and Frank on both sides of the ball?
I feel like it's fun because most of the time I aim for them. They're fast and they could get upfield.
All
They're
right.
both really talented.
All right, so just to move a little bit forward, you're going through a bit of a transition that all young athletes have to go through, preparing to go over to middle school, man. What are you looking forward to, or what are some of the bigger challenges that you're looking forward to tackling in your middle school ranks, moving up a new level in football?
During the summer, getting work in, getting people to Newman, and just getting ready for the fall.
All right, man. So, let's go ahead and move on to another subject, man. Your social media. You recently had a little bit of a big name school start following. Tell us what is your social media, where we can follow you if we want to keep track of your career, and tell us, man, who's kind of been some of your new follows.
My Instagram is sniper_C3, and recently the head coach from Oklahoma University followed me.
Doing big things, man. So, what do you think has led to these opportunities, or what kind of special attention have you been paying attention to just to open yourself up to these new opportunities, make yourself available for them?
What was the question? I couldn't hear you.
I said, what kind of tips or advice would you give another young athlete as far as his media or presenting himself in the media to open up those type of opportunities for themselves?
Just having fun with it. Don't get too pressured. Just perform, and you'll get recognized.
All right, man. So we got one more clip right here. Let's go ahead and drop that one, producer. Oh, this is another head top in the corner. And with that arm and those receivers, it's pretty much not fair. So before we go ahead and move on to our next MVP, man, I got my major question is, what is going to be your goal? We all know what your goal is for the next upcoming week is to come away with the national championship. But you're transitioning into middle school football. What are some of your goals for the up and coming year?
Winning state, having the best offense in the league that we're in, just setting records.
Lofty goals. And well spoken at that, man. All right, well, Cam, man, appreciate you hopping on with us, man. But let's go ahead and bring the coaches in. So do we have Weldon? And we got Coach Todd?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, next we have some questions for. Well, you have any questions for your son here? Let's put the spotlight on. Usually, questions are private.
So I know the expectations that I said, and we both know they're high. What are your expectations this summer with us having state, nationals, and tournament champions coming up?
For my team, to not get pressured, play our best, just win, have fun, score.
Coach Todd. Coach Todd, you still there?
Yes, sir.
So, what question would you have for the young quarterback?
Yeah, really not a question, but I'll tell you that, we had the opportunity to play AYG against Cam and Coach Johnson. And, not just because we're on this call, but I'll tell you right now, I think they're the best 12U team that we faced all year. And I'm still waiting on those 14 points that Coach Johnson said he'd spot me. Never got them. Never got them, but I don't know if it mattered. I think he beat us by 30-something points. But Cam's outstanding. Really pulling for you guys. You guys, I think you're heading to state this weekend. If I saw that right on Twitter,
Yes,
best of luck to you guys down there. Just know that the Lightning's pulling for you and wishing you guys the best.
Hey, I appreciate that. And kind of like you just said, we've definitely had our share of battles. And honestly, there's not many teams that I say this about, but your team is one of the teams that you definitely don't want to see into the championship. You're not a team that, I want to see in pool play or want to see in the semifinals, just because that group you have, and you know this, they can turn it on at any point in time. When we're not playing, that Lightning group is probably a group that I watch more than any other team around. So hats off to what you've done with them.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
All right, man. Well, we're going to go ahead and get ready to wrap up this segment. But before we do, I always let my guys do shameless plugs. So, Todd, I'm going to try and get you to stick around a little bit longer because we got another one of your athletes. You can help me out with some of the questions. But, Weldon, I understand that the finals are starting and you've got to go prepare. So, before you go, man, I need to know what you have going on. And, man, go ahead and plug that employer of yours, man. They're doing some good things for the education system in the southern sector of Dallas. So tell us a little bit more about what you guys have going on over in Newman.
Man, Newman International in Cedar Hill, it's a school that I can say over the last 4 or 5 years is truly on the rise. We started out in a charter school league called TCAF, where we won our first state championship. And then we eventually moved into a private school league that had a mix of private schools and charter schools, where we won our second state championship and actually knocked off the former 3-time state champion Trinity Christian Tigers. And now we're getting ready to make that move and jump up with the big boys and go UIL. So just want to see where we're really at and go compete with some of the best, give our kids a chance to play on some of the biggest stages out there.
Man, congratulations. Much continued success and best of luck here in the national championship. We're going to go ahead and let you guys go. And we're going to have Kurt jump on. He'll be in the call a little bit later on. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get the information for our next guest up. So we've gotten Cam. Our next guest is going to be the quarterback of the Frisco Lightning. Its young man is Jake Smith, man. He holds a 25-5 record in tournament play, 33-5 overall. He has 102 touchdowns and 144 touchdowns through 38 games total. He averages about 3 touchdowns per performance. So he's a quarterback in the class of 2027, and he currently is attending Pearson Middle School. So, Jake, man, welcome aboard. So, tell me, man, I think this is the second year you guys have been a program, but this is our first year having the privilege of following the Frisco Lightning just due to our schedule. And we've been able to follow you through premier events, the championship that's coming up recently, and we've been able to follow you through Gridiron. So, tell us, man, what's been the key to your success this year?
Well, I'm going to start out with handing it to my teammates. I wouldn't want any other receivers in the world. And I think to our key to success is that we have talent. And with talent comes depth. And with depth comes competition. And with competition becomes excellence.
All All right, man. So you guys have been able to put together some big time wins against some of the bigger name brands in the state of Texas. What is it about this Frisco team and that culture up there where you guys aren't afraid to go head to head with anyone?
We just know that it's just like we just see every team as the same. Like we think that we're the underdogs. Like we come into every single game thinking that we could lose.
All right, man. So let's talk about just family wise, man. What's it like having to have a father as a coach?
It's amazing. Every single day I get to talk about Lightning, football, quarterback, my form. It's just a dream come true.
Hey, I love this quarterback. He's so media savvy because my son hates the fact that I'm on the field filming the camera and that I put it on mute and give him tips from time to time. He absolutely hates it, but you know, they grow a little bit different up north of Frisco, so maybe you enjoy it. All right, man. So let's talk about your academics at school, man. What is the report card looking like, man? So what are the grades looking like?
I'm an A and B student, bro. You know me.
So what's your favorite subject?
Math. You got to go math or obviously PE.
PE. Okay. Well, man, outside of football, do you practice any other sports?
Not really. I guess I just practice basketball sometimes, but I just take to football.
All right, man. So a quarterback once told me, and I didn't really respect it, but now as I'm a little bit older and I get to hold the camera behind the quarterback, I understand how difficult it is. He was like, everybody on the field plays football, but the quarterbacks are playing kind of a different sport. So what are some of the biggest struggles that come along with being the quarterback or the face of the franchise?
You gotta know what everybody does, and just having a new playbook and having to learn. Like I have a Frisco Lightning playbook and a Pearson playbook. And I have to memorize both of them, and it's a lot of stress, but it's also fun at the same time. And I do it for my friends and just the love of the sport.
Hey, before we go to our next question, let's play one of your highlights. We got a play we want to go ahead and show the audience at home.
Oh my God. Catch that. Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, hey, if you know anything about Frisco Lightning, that's one of those rare non-out route plays. Now, I like to call you guys death by 1,000 out routes. What is it about the Frisco Lightning in the deadly 10 to 15 yard out route that you guys have just mastered?
Well, if the defense leaves it open, what do we do? Not hit it? Like we just got. If it's open, we got to hit it. And if the defense plays up, we'll hit them over top just like that play that you just showed. But if they're just staying back, we'll just hit underneath, out routes, crossers, anything.
Now, I will say this. There is an out route open somewhere on the field at all times. So if that's going to be the rule that you go with, you're going to see a lot of them. But we have another play. Let's go ahead and show that one for the audience at home. Another one of those beautiful, perfect out routes. Anyway, man, so before we let you go, man, you're getting towards that age where you're about to transition into middle school ball, man. So you for a long time, you've had the privilege of having your father as a coach. How do you expect the transition's going to be towards middle school football and, you know, having dad kind of move up into the stands and take a permanent seat for a little bit?
It's going to be awesome. Just know the experience that I already had. Him on the sideline, he just always cheers me on. I always look to the sideline. He's just like staring at me, giving me advice, everything. It's awesome.
All right, man. Well, speaking of dad, man, Todd, let's go ahead and bring you in. Man, do you have any? What would you like to add, or did I miss anything that you want to touch on?
No, I mean, you know, Channy, it's pretty cool that you know, I was kind of laughing here in the background. He's talking about you know, he said it's awesome. You know, he gets to talk about Lightning football all day, every day. And to be honest, that's how it is. I'm pretty I'm pretty obsessed with, not being the reason we lose, right? So I'm always trying to study and I'm bouncing things off him, but it pays off because in the league play, we played 8 games in a league play, and he called every play on offense. I didn't even call the plays. So just him, we talking through the week, building his confidence up. And it just shows, right? And that's why, we're 33-5, right? I mean, it's his leadership on the field, him taking the responsibility of the team, and it just makes me proud as a coach and a father.
Well, hey, I think we have the owner and founder of Premier Events on the line. Kurt, do we have you, Kurt? Kurt, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, Andy's got a good signal. We saucing up here up in Charlotte right now.
Yeah, no, I got Wi-Fi up here.
So, man, tell us, man, you have any questions for the Frisco Lightning?
Well, I guess, I know Mark for years. Great guy, great organizer, like you said earlier. My question to you is where's all the talent coming from in Frisco for you guys? Are you going out and searching for it, or is it basically composed of one group of kids that have been playing together for years?
Yeah. So how we've kind of come across this team is we were in a tackle organization called Frisco Football League, which is the premier tackle league here in Frisco, right? It's a rec league. So what we did is we approached the parents and the players and said, hey, we're thinking about starting a 7-on-7 group. And, by the grace of God and the luck, the parents, trusted us and coaching their kids and came on board. Now moving forward, Kurt, definitely, as the kids are in middle school, we're always watching middle school ball now. We're if we see a player, we'll try to get in touch with that player, say, hey, come try out for us. I think this coming year, may actually have tryouts for the first time for the Lightning, because we're going to expand. This year we had a 12U and 13U. Next year we're looking to have 10U, 12U, and 14U. So we're really looking to expand our organization and really tap in. They don't necessarily have to be from Frisco. It just, right now it's like everybody we have is in Frisco. But if we can expand, if kids want to come in from other areas to play for us, we'd love to have them. We'd love to coach them up and keep winning.
Yeah, they would love kids from Duncanville and DeSoto come on up to Frisco.
Oh, absolutely. If you live in Duncanville or DeSoto, you're more than welcome to come up here and play with us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, Kurt, did you have anything else to add to that before we move on to the next guest?
Just so you know, I know a little bit about the Frisco Football League. I ran McKinney Youth Football for years when Frisco was over there, and when they were growing, we were growing a little bit ahead of them, and now they've surpassed McKinney, I think. But you've got a great pool of talent there in Frisco to draw from. With I think they got 26 something middle schools and things like that. So wish you guys all the luck in the world, man. Look forward to seeing you guys down in Temple. It's going to be a great week of events, and hope to see you guys at one of our player combines for the older kids, and also we've got a recruiting seminar on Friday night that will enlighten a bunch of kids on how and things they need to do to make sure that they're seen by college coaches. So look forward to seeing you guys down there.
Absolutely.
All right, well, man, Kurt, before we move on to our next guest, man, this is our second year with Premier Events. This is going to be our second national championship with you guys. So tell us, man, how long have you been running this organization, and how long have you guys been involved in 7-on-7 football?
Well, Premier Events USA started in really 2016. We're a multi-sport tournament provider. 7-on-7, for 3 years, I ran primetime 7-on-7 in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In 2020, we broke away from primetime and added 7-on-7 football to our Premier Events USA lineup. Of course, COVID hit. We got 3 in COVID hit, shut us down. We honor the high school program, so when they shut down, we shut down as well. So last year was really our first full year as an organization in running 7-on-7 football. We had a great year. We averaged numbers well above what we anticipated. We feel like we have a great product that we put on the field for the athletes to participate in. I guess we might have a little different philosophy. We might not offer as many games or as many teams out there, but we're primarily about the development of the player. We know 7-on-7 does not get you recruited for college football. 7-on-7 might get you in to have somebody look at your videotapes and film on Friday nights. So we're big believers in the development that we help provide in our games is what helps them on Friday night when they're under the lights and college coaches are sitting watching these high school and sometimes middle school athletes participate in the great game of football. So that's really what we're about with the 7-on-7. Like I said, this is our second year, full year. We had a great season this year. We've run events in Louisiana, Oklahoma, all over Texas, from Houston all the way up through Waco, through Temple, through all over the Dallas-Fort Worth, all the way up into Sherman and the River. We've got some big things coming on for next year in terms of how we're going to do things and the locations we'll be at. So, yeah, we're looking forward to finishing out this year strong at our National Invitational Championships, June 16th to 19th. By the way, Premier Events USA is the only 7-on-7 tournament provider that is a invitation-only national championship provider. You have to play our qualifier events to even be invited to come to our national championships. So we're not about bringing in 300 teams. We're about bringing in 50, 60, 70 teams that have all participated with us during the season, have all played and earned a spot and an invite to our national invitational. And that's what we're looking forward to.
Hey, Kurt. Well, hey, don't jump off the line. We're going to come back and touch on some other subjects with Premier Events, give our audience a little bit more knowledge about the different sports and different areas that you cover. But without further ado, we got to go out west, man. We got one bad man on the line right here. We got Colton Newsom. Now, Colton Newsom is the quarterback of the West Texas Boom. He's in the class of 2024. He currently attends Midland Christian High School. He's on the AB honor roll, and he is also a track and cattle roping athlete. Is that correct, man?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Cole, man, you're one of the more exciting players that I've had the privilege of watching out west. Really starting to make a lot of these coaches and colleges have to turn out west to pay attention to what's going on out there. So tell us, man, what has been with the rise, or where are these new high-level athletes coming from out west?
Well, I mean, we're originally based in like Midland, Odessa area, so Odessa Permian. I mean, everybody knows who Odessa Permian from Friday Night Lights.
Hey, Coach Parchment was my JUCO coach at Cisco, so I got West Texas roots too.
And then Legacy High School, we have some kids from there, and then Midland High School, and then I'm the only Midland Christian kid, but we're all a set group from West Texas, and we go out to these tournaments and just ball out.
All right, man. So what's been the key to this West Texas Boom season? You guys have been in some big name tournaments and come away with some big time rings. How have you guys been able to sustain the success this season despite the rush of talent that's coming out of West Texas? Now there's a little bit more competition for getting athletes on one team than there was before.
Probably just practice and just keeping our heads down, getting out there when it's hot, because I mean it's already 105, 108 here already on that turf. I mean it gets hot, so I mean we're out there 2 to 3 hours just grinding with our heads down, just critiquing new formations, new plays we have written up, all kinds of things, motions, just really spacing it out.
All right, well, we got some of those plays that you're talking about. Let's go ahead and watch this highlight that you've sent in for us. Right down the sideline. And I was actually there. That was over at Arlington High. You had a pretty nice day that day.
Mm-hmm. I did.
Let's catch this second clip. All right, man. So let's talk West Texas football a little bit. Let's put a spotlight on your area in the country. I remember when I first came out, there wasn't as many teams coming out of the West that were dominant in these 7-on-7 tournaments. Recently, I've seen YAC win a couple of tournaments. West Texas Elite has been on a tear, and West Texas Boom. Anytime that I've seen you guys on the field, you guys have been winning. Excuse me.
Mhm.
What's been the deal with this newfound dominance that's coming from out west?
More of just getting everybody out there. Because, I mean, we know how to play. I mean, we can ball. And so once we do it in front of these people and people start filming and videoing, and all of a sudden we're winning these tournaments, you kind of recruit West Texas, you just kind of throws it out there, and then everybody, I mean, you head top somebody, it's going to get posted somewhere. Somebody's going to see it, get shared, and then there, and then there, and then, I mean, yeah.
Well, all right, man. Well, Kurt, let me bring back in the president and owner of Premier Events. We got Kurt Lamley. So, when I first met you, Kurt, part of the initiative and part of the thing you wanted to do is you wanted to bring more light on the players that are coming out of the smaller venues, some of the smaller towns in the United States or in Texas. And tell us what it's like to have teams like West Texas Boom, West Texas Elite, Alito, some of these smaller town teams that are big time competitors in this league.
Well, I think by having those teams coming into us, obviously we want them there because they're great competitors when they're there. West Texas Boom, they did a great job. They played in Arlington, got to watch them indoors during that event. Came away with some hardware there as well, some rings, and but West Texas Elite, West Texas Boom, some of the Alito, some of the more western teams, they're starting to get noticed, and the athletes that are playing for those teams are starting to get noticed all over the state of Texas, not just in West Texas. To our effect, one of the things that we're doing, we've made it a priority of us that we are going to go out west next year, and we're going to hold a couple of tournaments in the West Texas area, Midland, Odessa, Permian, that area, to try and make sure we accommodate some of those West Texas athletes that typically have to travel to our events and other events to even be able to play. So we want to come to them. We want to make sure that they come to us while we're out there and highlight the talents and the skills that they have, because they've got some great athletes in that area. Like he said, Colton said, he's practicing at 108 degrees and it's 80 degrees here. So they got a big jump. So them coming to an 80-degree temperature, that's like going to the North Pole for them. So they're used to that heat and those kind of things, and it makes them a little tougher, a little grittier when it comes to fall football, because they're not their level of fitness is higher just because of having to practice in those temperatures. So we're looking forward to being out there. I'm not sure I am, because it's hot out there. So hopefully we'll get early in the season, but it's not quite as hot. But yeah, we plan to come out to West Texas next year in 2023 for at least 2 tournaments out there, if not more.
Awesome.
Well, hey, Kurt, I know how it is, man. We're only from Ohio during the summer.
It's a lot colder in Texas, baby. Trust me.
All right, man. Well, hey, Colton, man, before I let you go, we got to touch on, man, you're a roping champion. Okay, my son just logged on to PlayStation. Anyways, so Colton, tell us about the roping, man. Where do you compete? Is this through your school? And tell us a little bit of the rules of the game.
I don't do it much anymore. I just do it more of just messing around with my friends. But I used to do it when I was little more. I was always just going to random rodeos, messing around. But I don't know. I've really stuck to football now. So it's just something I'll pick up on like a weekend, or if there isn't anything to do, I'll go outside and rope the dummy or just mess around with it. Kind of like a little getaway.
So my last question is, a lot of people on the eastern half of the state don't understand the distances and the dedication it takes when you play West Texas football, just because of how big and vast the place is. So, I remember I was driving an hour and a half to take my son to practice in Pleasant Grove, and I thought that was the end of the earth. What kind of drive time are some of the athletes that play on your team? How far are they driving?
So for us this year at Midland Christian, our first 3 games, we'll have 60 hours of bus time before we even get to play, really. We go to El Paso, so that's like 7-8 hours, and then we'll go to Austin, and then we go to Texarkana week 3 this year. So that's already insane amount of hours just before you even really get to play. So
Well, hey, man, one thing I like about West Texas Boom, or a lot of the West Texas programs, hey, you got to respect it and check it, and they will pull up with it because they used to driving, man. So I want to wish you the best of luck before I let you go. But do you have any final messages for the folks at home? And let's get your social media in case somebody wants to follow you.
all right, my Instagram's Colton_Newsome5, and then my Twitter's Colton Newsome.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back with our next guest. You're watching Semi Pro Live, the road to the national championship.
Everybody else is paid to play. You guys are invited and you're paid for. Congratulations.
I felt like I couldn't be anywhere else without my team, and they were hyping me up. I was hyping them up, and we all just kept it together. And yeah, good coaching too. Yeah.
It's really good to go against good competition. And I just know nobody can throw the ball on me.
So what was it?
All right, folks, we are back. Channing Humphrey with Semi Pro Live, road to the national championship with Premier Events. And man, I want to bring in Coach Todd. Man, we got another one of those Frisco athletes, man. Now, the reason we're just having Coach Todd stay on here, unlike a lot of the other coaches that are on here who have a couple of levels, but only one level is dominant, he's got 2 dogs in the fight. Actually, maybe 3. You guys have 3 levels competing right now? Coach Todd? All right.
Sorry, Channing. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you, Coach. So how many levels do you guys still have competing?
Just 2. We just have a 12U and a 13U.
12 and 13. So we're going to have a member of both teams. So we're going to have Duke come in. So, but before I introduce Duke, I thought I'd have the coach come in and tell us a little bit more about this athlete. So tell us about Duke and the type of athlete he is.
Oh my gosh! I mean, how much time do we have? I mean, this kid is just. I mean, first of all, I'd have to go way down the list before I get to football. How good of a player and good of a person that Duke is and his family are. But talking to him about how he is as an athlete, you mentioned the long range. The kid's always open. I mean, if we need a play, that's who we're going to. Defensively, he's covering all the ground. And the thing it's special about Duke, when he plays in tackle, he's just as good. I think he had 26 or 28 touchdowns in tackle last year as a running back, right? So he plays running back for his middle school, plays receiver and safety for us. I think he might have played defensive end for his middle school. Yes. So he can play any position, do anything you want him to do. I know that's Jake's. Obviously, Jake loves to throw him the football. I mean, the highlights that we have sent you, it's usually Duke, right? So it's I can go on and on about the kid. I mean, he's just fantastic all around. Just the effort he gives, what he brings to practice, the leadership on the field. It's just impressive at a young age of 13.
Wait, Duke, man, let's stop talking about you and talk to you. Come on down. Man, how's your week been going so far?
It's been going good.
All right, man. Well, let me just roll down your stat line so we can let the folks at home know who they're looking at. So he 25-5 in tournament play, 35-5 overall. Yes, that's only 5 7-on-7 losses for the entire tournament. He's got 80-plus touchdowns in 38 games. He's got 20-plus interception. He's a wide receiver / safety, and he's in the class of 2027, currently attending Richmond Middle School in Frisco, Texas. He's on the AB honor roll, and he also is a baseball and a track athlete, man. So, Duke, welcome to the program. It's a long, that stat line is about as long as your legs, man. So tell us, what's been the key to this dominant season?
Just hard work, working together as a team, repetition and practice. That helps a lot.
One thing I love about watching you play is you have a gift that my son has. My son is huge. You are a rangy, tall athlete, but you're not one of those athletes that is dependent on his size. You're a great route runner. You're very physical. You play the game like an undersized player. Where do you get that hunger from?
I just try to be the best, and when I can't, I try even harder, and it just motivates me more. And I just love the game.
Now, you're in an area, in the Frisco area, the northern suburbs. There's a rich 7-on-7 tradition and a lot of competitive programs. What is it about this Frisco Lightning program where you guys have been kind of able to rise to the top of the heap?
Like I said earlier, a lot of repetition and practice. We work really well together. We have a lot of chemistry, and we all lift each other up.
What are some of the things that you guys do outside of football to do team bonding or team building?
We hang out a lot. Like Coach Todd and Jake took me to a baseball game the other day just to hang out, and we all just hang out.
Are you guys gamers?
A little bit, but we prefer going to each other's houses and just messing around and stuff.
All right. So, man, we've got some highlights of you, so we got to let the people know exactly who they're dealing with here. Let's go ahead and drop those highlights. All right, man. So, what is the key to that, man? So you're able to get a lot of highlights, man. You have the perfect combination of route running and being able to use your body control and your size. Where did you get that skill from, and what do you do to work on that?
To work on it, I go to trainings. Shout out EPT Training and Noah West. My parents help too with that.
All right, man. So do you have any outside of football activities that you enjoy, and what other sports or athletic activities are you involved in?
I run track and I play basketball.
What's your race in track, and what's your position in basketball?
In track, I favorite the 100, but I also run 400, long jump and triple jump.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get this second clip here. Dang, dude, they asking for your That is live. Next time, Frisco and Whole Foods and riding around the Star, or I'm over at Nebraska Furniture Mart, I'm definitely gonna. And I know Duke. All right, I heard he gets a special visit. All right, well, Coach Todd, man, tell us about this athlete, man. Or do you have any questions to follow up?
Yeah. So the first video you showed, the highlight of Duke, was one of my favorite of the season so far. If you watch that video, you know you're good. You know you're good when the ref claps because you made such a good catch, right? If you see the video, he makes a touchdown, the ref starts clapping. It was so awesome. But Yeah, I'd like to know, Duke, like, how are you always open, man? So I just want to say I appreciate you. Every time I call your number, you just seem to go get it. Like he's showing this one right here. Duke was, I think, the second or third option here. You see him lay it up, and Duke just goes over the kid to catch it, and get some good quality opponents in that tournament there for Premier Events. So man, just an honor to coach him, and him and Jake being friends. Just makes that connection even stronger. And they count on each other a lot. And on the way in tonight, Channing, back from Jake's training, we were talking about just, him and Jake. I really don't know any other two kids that I've ever coached that put the work in like those two will. And it's pretty impressive. I just, at 13, I was a hot mess at 13, and these kids got their act together. It's pretty impressive, and I just can't thank them enough and brag on them enough, and just love these kids to death.
I can say for sure that they're all better than me. I started playing football at 13. That was the first time I picked up the ball, so I'm already in awe. But man, before we let you go, hold on, producer, you had something to add?
Oh, Kurt's still here.
Oh, I don't know how I forgot about the guy whose actual show it is. Kurt, come on back in here, man. So you're the one who actually put me in contact with this awesome program. Tell us about the Frisco Lightning and what they've meant to the Premier Events family.
Well, I know the Frisco Lightning because of Mark, the other coaches, and Coach Smith. They played last year. I know they played with some of their kids, played in the Frisco Football League. I think all the way from like 8-year-olds all the way up through 12U. I know some of the kids are from the same group of kids that played in tackle for years. I know they picked up some other kids. I know they're planning on expanding their program next year. I can tell you this, Coach Smith talked about, and one of the players, I believe, talked about the processes of that Coach Mark has and putting those processes into play and keeping them organized so the kids understand exactly what they're doing every play. The good thing about the Frisco Lightning is they've gotten to the point, especially for their 12 and 13-year-olds specifically, they've gotten to the point where they almost don't need the coaches on the sidelines anymore because they can run the offense, run the defense themselves. And that's ideally when you're talking about a 7-on-7 program like what we run, where we're talking about developing those players so that they become great athletes on Friday night. That's what I'm talking about when it comes down to that. So they understand the process it takes to get those kids to that level so that when they step into middle school or step into high school, it's one of those things. Coaches know your name for two reasons. One, because you're really good and understand what they talk about, and two, because you're not listening to anything they say. And the second one's not the good thing. Well, life is all about the first one. Those kids all walk in ready to go, ready to play. They're focused. They always stay focused. They play every play to the end. I watched several of their games this season when I was able to watch, and just every level, every kid, they all know their roles. They all do their roles to perfection or work to perfection, and they'll accept the excellence that they have. So, I have no doubt if they expand their program like they're talking about next year, they will gather very, very good athletes to go forward. And the best thing about that is those good athletes under tutelage will become great athletes that we're going to see at the next level eventually.
Awesome.
All right, man. Well, okay. Well,
I have a question. Because we got a family photo. So before you go, Duke, talk about your family and how they support you through everything.
My family are huge supporters. I love them. And
oh, that's awesome.
I got 4 little siblings. I got my 2 brothers and my 2 sisters. Both my brothers play sports. They're big athletes too.
Man, so what's that? How does that competition affect your game? Because I know you guys are competing.
What was the question?
I said, how does your competition affect your game?
My competition affects my game. It just pushes me to do better. Like, the more competition, the more I want to win. And so the harder our team and me plays.
All right, man. Now, before I let you go, do you have a social media platform if somebody would like to track you on your journey through college and high school?
Yes, sir. I have an Instagram and a Twitter.
Let's
My
get.
Instagram is at Duke Strain, and my Twitter is Duke_Strain.
Any final shout outs before we let you go?
Shout out Jake, QB Jake on Instagram, Frisco Lightning, EPD Training, and Noah West.
All right, man. Well, that pretty much the lightning portion. Todd, you're more than welcome to hang on for our next guest if you'd like. I know we're getting closer to the finals starting, so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get to our final guest of the night. We've got Bane Martin. Now, first off, that's one of the coolest first names. Bane, not Blaine. Bane Martin. All right, now, just to give you a little bit of a background of this kid, he's got 30 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. He's a member of the Aledo Bobcats class of 2027. He's a wide receiver and cornerback. He currently is attending McNulty Middle School, and he currently has an offer. He's on the AB honor roll. He's a basketball and track athlete, and he also thinks that he can get down on 2K. But we've got Bane, man. Bring him in. I said thinks he can get down on 2K because we will come find you and see what you're talking about. How's your day been going, Bane?
It's been going good. Just got back from basketball.
So, man, let's get right into it, man. You're in a very competitive Aledo program. This is actually the second year that I've had the privilege of either covering the high school program 7-on-7 or covering the middle school 7-on-7 programs from out there. So what is it like just being in a competitive perennial powerhouse program like the Aledo system?
It's a lot of hard work, a lot of inspiration, and a lot of motivation to just get better.
So what is the competition like being out there in Aledo, and what kind of effect do you think it's had on you as an athlete?
The competition is very intense. It's a lot of, yeah, it is very intense. There's a lot of pressure, but it just made me so much more better.
So, man, speaking of that, you're on a team that is the Aledo Bobcats 2027 squad. You guys are a pretty dominant squad, especially each time that I've seen you out here at premier events, man. What is it like, and how are you able to separate yourself and get MVP awards like you've been able to accumulate over the season when you're on a team with so much talent like the Aledo Bobcats?
I feel like what separates me is just how hard I work, and I feel like as big as I am, my speed really just separates me from everyone else.
All right, man. So are you interested in any other? Well, let me hold that question. We've got some highlights from your season. Let's go ahead and drop that first highlight. That was beautiful. So let's go back to that play, man. What gives you that moxie, that confidence to just swing that ball in there when it's contested like that? Is it a product of you having confidence in your receivers, or is that a product of you having confidence in your arm strength?
Kind of. I mean, really, I just look back on how hard I worked, and just to have confidence to be able to know that I deserve to catch that ball. And that's my ball.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. Now, outside of that, man, what kind of effect do you feel that being a track athlete has on your ability to separate yourself from the field as a wide receiver or to just get open as a wide receiver?
Definitely speed, definitely quickness. It's made me a lot faster and a lot stronger, with more endurance. It's helped me a lot.
So is there any kind of extracurricular training that you do, or are you a part of any training programs you'd like to promote way of the opportunity?
I I train for football at APEC at Game On Sports, and that's basically it. That's all I train at.
All right, Kurt. Well, hey, let's bring back in Kurt. Kurt, you there?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, and man, you were so still. I thought you were frozen for a second.
Oh,
So, man, tell us about this Alito program and what they've meant to the overall tournaments that you guys had this year.
So, just a couple things about the Alito program that I'm going to tell you. Number one, they're school-based program, which means all the kids that are playing for them are basically going to be attending Alito High School. Why is that important? Because that 7-on-7 group and those group of kids are going to be playing together for several years to come. Number one. Number two is their 7-on-7 program is what helps them become the elite varsity high school program that they are. They are legit perennial state runner-up or in the state championship hunt every year. Their 7-on-7 program at every age group that they've run over the past years, they're not afraid to play any competitive select teams. They don't care who they're playing. They come out and for the most part do just about everything they can to win those games and most of the time do win those games. I think part of it is, again, the system they're in. They run a great system. They got kids that run great routes and have great focus in what they're doing, hardworking young athletes. Again, a smaller school program, which I want to be honest with you, some of the small programs, they may not have the biggest kids, fastest kids in the state, but they probably have some of the hardest working kids and some of the kids with more than a lot of kids at higher level schools. So I give my hats off to them. They're a great program, always have been a great program.
Boy, Dane, before I let you go, just to touch on that, tell us about that Alito Bobcats culture and what's everyday life in Alito like. So tell us about what the town is like and what's the culture of the school like.
The culture of the school is always about sports. We're always trying to find ways to get better, find ways to be able to work out with each other and just have good chemistry.
All right, man, most definitely. So, hey, I'm sorry, producer, help me out. You have another clip? I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and play this final clip before we let you go.
Bad throw, go get it.
Okay. Well, I understand why she was trying to get my attention. So you have quite the ability to head top people, man. Where does that come from?
I work out a lot. I do really focus on my vertical. I do a lot of vertical workouts, so that helps a lot.
All right. Well, okay. We're actually putting the focus on it in the gym, man. So if there's another young receiver, well, actually we have a lot of young receivers that watch our program. If there's a young receiver out there who's been watching your performance through the season, they inspired to model their game after yours, what kind of advice would you give them?
You just really, really have to play with confidence and be confident in yourself.
Man, I like that one, man. Let's get another hand clap for him. Everybody of the Alito Bobcats class of 2027. Be on the lookout for this kid. And we didn't get your offer, man. You have an offer currently. Where's that offer at?
I don't have an offer. I don't know why my dad said that.
All right. Well, hey, it's like if your palm is itching, you got money on the way, offers on the way. This is one of the baddest men in 7-on-7. Before we let you go, in case you do got some offers coming, what's your social media in case any athletes or anybody wants to follow you?
I don't have any social media, but I have a team TikTok where we post all our highlights. So on TikTok, it's Alito.7on7.
Alito.7on7 on TikTok. Watch them. You can catch the whole gang, the whole team. And, man, catch them in a week and a half for the national championship. Well, hey, man, we're going to let Dane go. We're going to bring back in our partner, Kurt Lamley, and he's going to just go ahead and help us put a bow tie on this before we wrap it up. So, Kurt, man, let's talk about this national.
Hey, love talking about our nationals. June 16th through the 19th. 16th is our check-in and our media night for our athletes and our coaches. We'll have you guys there, Semi-Pro Live, be there hopefully, and doing our player interviews and coaches interviews again, like you did last year. Friday morning for our 13 and up, 13 to 18-year-old group, we'll have our combine. Combine will consist of doing verticals, 40. Everything there is going to be done by with equipment that is the same equipment that the NFL uses running their combines. So it's a legit measurable final statistics for these athletes. The athletes will walk away with a verified card that they can take a picture of, upload to their Instagram account, Twitter account, put on their Max Prep accounts, however they want to do it. That certified as legitimate in their verticals and their 40s they measure that day. Friday evening, we'll have a recruiting seminar. That recruiting seminar will be for parents, players, coaches, whoever wants to attend. We'll have a couple of recruiting coordinators there. We'll talk about the do's and don'ts of recruiting, talk about the new likeness things with the NCAA, timelines when the kids need to get their things in place. We just heard about a young athlete that needs a Twitter account, Instagram, things that can help those athletes be found quickly by colleges. And then Saturday we start our games. Saturday, Sunday we'll be playing games. It's a 5-game guarantee. We'll play 4 games on Saturday. We're going 2 15-minute halves with 2-minute intermissions for all of our games on Saturday. Same thing on Sunday. We're going to crown a national champion. We are the only group, Premier USA is the only group out there that runs 7-on-7 that is you have to get an invite. And our invites have been going out the last few weeks to the coaches to get their teams registered. We have a deadline, an early bird deadline of the 5th of June, where you get $75 off the registration fee. And also the teams that have earned paid berths through some of our qualifiers, they've got those paid berths done by June 5th as well, so that they can get their paid berth taken care of for the Nationals. But it's going to be a great event. Like I said, we're the only organization that requires you to qualify. And the reason we do that is because, one is we think it holds a higher prestige that you had to actually come out and qualify, not just pay your money and go play. So you had to play in one of our events. You had to do well in one of our events. You got first or second. You got guaranteed berths. You got third or down. You got a wild card spotted in our Nationals. But should be a great event. It's going to be down in Temple, Texas at Compide Park. Temple Grass Complex, all TIF Bermuda grass. Great complex. Hills, trees, shaded areas. It's kind of set up where you can sit on top of the hill and watch on each field, like a stadium setting for each field. So it's a great layout for us. Looking forward to being down there.
All right. And will Eric be out there with his go-kart?
That was my question.
Eric will be out there with his go-kart. I've got a couple of coaches that are coming to make sure we can get around the fields because, yes, it is, as well, Channing, it is very spread out there, which is good because it keeps people spread out and not on top of each other. So
I appreciate the trees. The trees are nice to have on the side of the field.
Trees, we're going to have we got vendors that'll be out there all day on Saturday and Sunday. We got vendors that'll be at our check-in as of also Magic Smoke will be out there with some barbecue. We got some ice snow cone companies coming out there. We'll have regular concession people out there the entire weekend. So it's going to be a fun weekend. We're looking forward to it. We're actually working with the city of Temple right now to actually fence the entire park in, which is probably unheard of, but it's going to get done. So it'll be something new and something different, but it's going to be fun.
All right. Well, hey, Todd, man, before we let you go, I didn't want to just have you floating in here, man. So, Todd, tell us a little bit more. We'll just put a bow on the Frisco Lightning story for us.
Man, hey, Channing, just, thanks for having us on here and, the publicity. And, we're so excited to go down there, and compete at Premier Events National Championship. Very honored, to represent the city of Frisco and what we do. Kurt laid it out perfectly. It sounds like it's going to be a fantastic venue, not only for the games on Saturday and Sunday, but leading up to the games. What a special thing for these young men to go out there and experience. So we're just ready to go to compete. some great teams and ready to get after it, man. We're looking forward to it.
All right. Well, Kurt?
No, I was just going to say it's going to be fun. We're excited about Frisco Lightning being there.
Man, I'm excited that we'll be there. Semi-Pro Live will be live in the building for both days. So tune in right here to catch all the action. Also, man, we will have player of the game prizes, Pit Viper sunglasses provided by Max Sporting Goods. And as always, go to shock.com. That's shock, no K. Enter code Semi-Pro Live to receive 15%. I was shortchanging you. 15% off your entire order. Until next time, we'll see you guys again on Semi-Pro Live.
Everybody else is paid to play. You guys are invited and you're paid for. Congratulations.
I felt like I couldn't be anywhere else without my team, and they were hyping me up. I was hyping them up, and we all just kept it together. And yeah, good coaching too. Yeah.
It's really good to go against good competition. And I just know nobody can throw the ball on me.
So what was